to the Cup Chasers podcast. Welcome to the channel. Thanks for being here. Thanks for listening. Arsenal have won the FA Community Shield. It is a nice, shiny dinner plate, and still excited about the win. It's a good one to finally get one over on Old Man City. And if you're as excited about as I am, go ahead and smash the likes, subscribe to the channel, and get that notification bell on. I have a few points, a few things. I think the biggest takeaway from this game is, one, I've noticed a lot of Arsenal fans online are getting super hyped about this. And yeah, it's great. We won. Yeah, good job. But I think that you got to dive deeper than all that to really find the real value. For me, I think, like we said in the preview, it was bigger for Arsenal, a bigger game. We definitely needed the proverbial monkey off our back. And I think it's fine margins, but yeah, it kind of is. We can say we've beaten you head to head. It only took us 9 attempts. So the last time Arsenal beat City in the league was an Arteta Thunderbolt. So that should tell you how long ago it was. But just the fact that all Arsenal can do to improve this season is improve the mentality. And it goes a long way, I think, that we actually won the game, regardless of perhaps the dubious nature of our victory. Scored in the 139th minute or whatever it was to equalize. And of course, we'll definitely get into opinions of the new refereeing decisions, the new rules. But I think it's important for the mentality that Arsenal actually won the game. Do you think? What do you think? Pep's definitely seemed to be taking it seriously with that interview. What do you think, Lewis?
My prop. This is my prop. That's all I care about. At the end of the day, I take it like this. He takes all the games seriously because, why wouldn't you take all your games seriously? But at the same time, in a game that could go to penalties at the time when he did, he takes Haaland off. So, at that point, if you're taking your main striker off, your penalty taker, in a game that probably could go to penalties at the time, the way it was set up, are you taking it seriously? Yeah and no, right? It's sort of like, 1 and 2. Because then, at the same time, if you look at it, City's sort of fluidity showed up when De Bruyne and Foden came on. So you're telling me he got like 10 minutes with Foden and Haaland and De Bruyne together, they scored. They got a goal when those two were on anyway. So if Haaland's on there,
had two.
They would. That's what I'm saying. So if we're being realistic, if Haaland stayed on with those guys, do they score more than one goal? Probably so. But now to give Arsenal credit as we go backwards, the first half, their defenders were really good. They played really well in the first half. And, the jury of Haaland doesn't show up for big games, which, it's whatever, right?
Big games.
But, they played well. And I think it was good for him to see that. And against those guys, I think, your back line was great. I was really, we saw Tim Brown. I was really impressed with him. I'm glad I feel good when the opponent is good because then it raises the level of the team. Because again, what's the ambition? What's the expectation? You've won everything. What is there for you to play for? And so now City can no longer win 6, and so the Barcelona fans ate that one up because now you can't get 6. Okay, so you give us a new goal. We like that. New goals work. Right. And then, but I give Arsenal credit. They were the better team in the first half. There was zero creativity in first half from City going forward. Somebody called Jack Grealish. They called him Mateo Kovacic on the wing, which I could almost see it because Kovacic had maybe 1 or 2 runs, but then he didn't know what to do with it once he was in there. And that's because it's kind of sad that you're at that high a level and you really lack creativity, where you got ball movers, but you lack the person who's willing to take the pass. And City may have an issue this season if they don't have at least one more guy who can do that. Because, okay, Foden will do it, but Foden got injured last year. De Bruyne can do it, and De Bruyne is De Bruyne, and no one else can be him. And clearly, he's still working his way to fitness. So, I mean, that means you're going to lay it all on Foden. Or that means Grealish has to show up. And, I mean, I like Grealish for, what he does, but, one of my complaints was he never crosses the ball, like in the air. And so if you're never taking the chance to play a dangerous ball at all, then what are you doing on the wing? And the thing is, he's a right-footed player playing on the left wing, which means you're there to score goals. And he has 11 goals in 2 seasons. So something's missing. And so someone said this, which Chelsea fans are going to dislike when I say this, but it's true. Raheem Sterling was more effective in that role than Jack Grealish was, goal scoring wise, and Raheem Sterling would miss the goal standing in front
of him. Back.
And no, thank you. But so
have him back.
20 million. That's all it takes. 20 million. So
that's the washing machine. We'll do it for the washing machine. We'll do it for your spare tire on your bus, bro.
Bring the kit man. We'll hire the kit man.
There's a reason they let him go. We appreciate Robin Chelsea.
Socks. There you go.
Appreciate Robin Chelsea for Sterling. But just all that to sort of sum up, Arsenal played really well. Congratulations to him. I'm not salty about it because it is what it is. And I always go into the thing where I want to win, but I've looked at City. Whenever they lose the Community Shield, they win the title, and I'm okay with it.
3 times running.
And they won it, the league.
Won it 3 times. And you won the title 3 times running. So that should tell you.
And the last team to win the Community Shield and win the league was Manchester City. So we good. We don't need it. But it's they needed something. And if he came out with that starting lineup that kind of was playing the second half, do you get something different? Maybe. But I really like that Arsenal's good. I'm one of those weird guys that I wanted to be competitive, so I liked how Arsenal looked, and I'm glad they were passionate. I'm not mad at somebody was like, well, Arteta shouldn't celebrate. Somebody was mad at Arteta celebrating. Why? He won. He has 3 trophies now because I do count it. He has 3 trophies, and this is his 4th season, right? I think this is his 4th year, right?
5th.
So he has 3 trophies in 5 years. That's solid.
Yeah. Well, it's the beginning of his 5th season. Yeah.
Right.
But I think
yeah.
I think that we tried the same tactics as in the 4-1. If you noticed, we just were desperate to keep Rodri off the ball.
Yeah.
Desperate to keep him off the ball. And in last season at the Etihad, when we did that, you just knocked it into Haaland. And he knocked it down to De Bruyne, who did De Bruyne things. Still haunts my nightmares, that one. But in this game, same thing happened. We blanket Rodri, and immediately y'all tried knocking it into Haaland. But one, Saliba is twice the defender Rob Holding is. And so that physical battle was a lot more challenging for Haaland. 2, Declan Rice and Thomas Partey won every second ball in that first half.
They did. They were good.
Won all the second balls. And so the question is, does KDB challenge Partey and De Bruyne better for those second balls? Because Gundogan won a lot of second balls in your team. But, and Silva's good at that as well, as small as he is, but he was playing out wide on the right. So Kovacic is going to have to figure that kind of thing out and be a bit of a bigger presence in those areas if that's what you resort to when Rodri doesn't get on the ball. Because the very first time, it was like 4 minutes in, we let Rodri have the ball and Rice backed off, like just ran away from him to get back into position, into the shape. And Rodri hits one into Akanji over the top, and Akanji gets across it. So every time we left Rodri open, you were dangerous.
And the thing about it is you bring up a point like that. And so this is where I think we mentioned, I don't know if we'll do transfers at another time, but City for sure needs they either need a winger and a central player, or they need 2 wingers. Because if Silva's going to be on the wing, you need somebody else centrally. if Silva's going to be on the wing, it just either way, you need you know what I mean. I'm mixing my words, but I said what I needed to say there. And so the thing, because Foden can be there, but and, it's weird to me. I'm not Pep, so I don't understand. I'm still not understanding why Grealish doesn't play in the middle, because Foden's a better winger than him. Like Grealish, he was a 10, so I don't understand why you wouldn't stick Grealish there. I think he feels more comfortable and creative playing centrally, but I think now that he's just been out the wing and he just holds the ball up, I think he's just used to that's what he's going to do now.
I don't know, man. That turn, Foden's turn,
that turn by
to beat
Foden.
Partey, and not only did the turn completely bamboozle my man, but also his first touch and burst of pace put 6 yards between them.
Yeah,
just like that.
No, I mean, you already know that to me, Foden is the replacement for De Bruyne. Like he's the replacement. He's the David Silva replacement. He's the De Bruyne replacement. But if we're talking about on the wing, Foden's a better winger than him as well. He's in general. I like Grealish, but Foden's a better player than him. Period.
Yeah.
But respect to Arsenal, they are the Community Shield. What year is this? 2023 Community Shield holders. They deserve they deserve the fireworks and the things that come with it. Respect to them.
Well, here's what I want to say on that about over celebrating or whatever. We don't win enough to not cherish the moments we do win. We don't win enough. We don't have that feeling of lifting a trophy enough in recent times to not really celebrate when we have a success like that. And it's not our fault that the FA wants there to be all this drama and ceremony about it, But that being said, look at last season. We're gonna celebrate. We beat Bournemouth, and even I was like, we're gonna win the league. That's the only time I was saying we're gonna win. Of course, Arsenal's gonna celebrate. Of course, get over it. You'd celebrate too, your victories. The people who are saying, oh, you shouldn't celebrate too much. Well, your team ain't out lifting trophies, are they? Whatever trophy it is, Chelsea seemed to enjoy lifting that Summer Series trophy.
I don't know about that. Did you really?
I mean, hey, at the end of the day, it's that winning feeling, right?
Yeah.
And you want to cherish that, and you want to continue to feel that. So, I'm all for it. But I do want to shout out Aaron Ramsdale as well. Absolute monster. After a bit of what the pundits are calling a tumultuous week because David Raya looks like he's coming in. But Ramsdale's spot's not in jeopardy at all.
Are you sure?
I think there's going to be bigger competition, but I would be upset as a fan. I'd be upset if Raya comes straight in and starts over Ramsdale. I'd be very mad.
I wouldn't think he would come in and start, but I think eventually he takes over that job.
I think so too. I sent you guys that video. It just shows his distribution is better, and just the fact that he's faced more shots and he seems to be a little bit better of a shot stopper too. Ramsdale's good. I'm not taking.
I don't know. Ramsdale's a beast. I'm a fan.
Well, but you're also looking at it from sort of your favoritism tint, which is fine. I respect that. And
the save versus Rodri's header on the near post was sick.
Well, it was. I'm not saying
he's out of position and he gets. I'm
not disagreeing, but what I'm saying is we just looking statistically if we're going from the seasons, like just of what the production is. And hey man, I don't care. I don't care who your keeper is, but I'm just looking at it from the outside because, for example, there was a rumor at City that if Ederson didn't have a solid end to his season last year, Ortega was taking his spot. And you can see Ortega's legitimately good. He
looked great. He looked good.
His distribution is not Ederson, but as a keeper, he's a shot stopper, man. He said because Arsenal had several good chances in the first half that he was there for.
He had a couple of good saves for sure.
So,
but Ortega's a little slow on the ball. That was one thing that I noticed.
Right. And he doesn't have that sort of same confidence Ederson has in distribution. Like Ederson is more creative. He's sort of like a Kevin De Bruyne, of goalies of sort of seeing the pass. And so I mean, I look at it, and if Pep said, hey, Ortega is going to take Ederson's spot, there's plenty of City fans who love Ederson for what he's done, and he's like, you know what, I get it. And so I'm just sort of looking at it in the non-biased sense of, I was just reading, and an Arsenal fan made the thing that I sent you guys, and I'm like, you know what, I like Ramsdale, but I mean, if we're looking at hard stats, plus there's the little bit of bias, which I did not know, that your keeper coach trained Raya. So I mean, if I'm Ramsdale, I'm playing my butt off because, I mean, it takes one, and I'm
Well, it's a
and I'm
Pep
gone.
tactic. That's a Pep Guardiola tactic, right? Where
Yes,
you
it
bring
is.
in another guy because dude man's getting comfy. And
That's what he did. With Ederson.
I think that's what Arteta's done, is what it is. Because I love Matty Turner. I'm
He
a
wasn't
fan,
competition.
USA fan. Not in a million years has he taken Ramsdale's spot. So I think Ramsdale knew that, and I think this is where it's coming from. And so kind of at the end of last season, he did have some good saves, some big saves, but he also had a couple of gaffes that we'd rather not talk about.
And a question about that, they were talking about in that same thing that I sent you guys, Ramsdale's performance went down, but I'm looking, if that's the case, do you play Raya in your Champions League games? Because that might be the reason. And then Ramsdale plays the league.
Maybe. We'll
And
have
if
to
that's
find
the case, I mean, you have a squad that's deep enough to do that now. And I mean, if I'm Ramsdale, would I be offended a little bit? Just a little bit. But I mean, if I know, if I'm certain that the league is mine, do I want Champions League? Yeah, but if it's that or I lose it all together,
Yeah.
I'm gonna take the league.
Hopefully it just makes him, it has the right effect, and they both just work really, really hard. And speaking of competition for places, my last point that I want to make, man, Kai Havertz is just I'm already very, very, very upset.
Well, I have a
You
question before you
experiencing the
continue.
frustrations that Chelsea fans have experienced outside of the Champions League goal to win.
Wait. But I have a question because you just said competition for places and Kai Havertz. I'm trying to find a connection there because I don't see any competition because I don't see who he's beating anywhere. What
Arteta
competition?
does. Arteta clearly sees him competing for time.
He's put him in 3 different positions so far.
Ooh.
My point, well, who do you think? Jesus went down, and who was the very next game? Who started in the 9?
Trossard should have started.
I agree.
Oh,
That's my point about Forrest. Trossard should get the start for me. For all of last season, I was happy with this same debate with the Eddie versus Trossard debate. I was happy with Eddie playing. It's Trossard. Trossard deserves to start. He's had the best preseason of everyone in the team. I mean, no, I would say Trossard has had the best preseason. So for me, he starts against Forest. But Havertz is just not a finisher. He's not. He doesn't play enough defense in the midfield when he's in that Xhaka role.
Why'd you buy him?
Good question. That's a great question. And
if you think about it, y'all have tried him at 3 positions so far.
He hadn't been good
He's
anywhere.
done nothing. He's done nothing. And you play him as a 9 because you're like, okay, well, he's tall. We can play balls into him. He can't hit the ball to save his life. I mean, he honestly is the type of player that when you see him at the age of 18, 19, you're like, oh my God, they could be world class. They could do this. They could do that. And then they just don't go any further because they're better than everybody that they played with at that time. But then they start playing with competition that is equal to them, and they don't have another card to play. It's the same card over and over. And I appreciate Kai for what he did at Chelsea to win a Champions League. But let's be honest. I mean, it was an open net. Yeah, he made a move on Ederson, but it was an open net. Like, if he had missed it, I think everybody would have, hung him in effigy, honestly.
He definitely wouldn't be at Arsenal for $65 million right now without that goal.
Right, exactly. And the thing is, he's not strong defensively.
He doesn't work defensively.
He
is what it
doesn't
is.
work. He's never worked. The only time I've ever seen him work was against Dortmund, and that was because the press was. I mean, it was like, okay, this is all we got. You know, we got to press hard, and you've got Felix behind him, and I'm trying to remember who was on the outside, and they actually pressed. But that was it. That's the only time I've ever truly seen him work. He doesn't hold up the ball. He's not a good hold up option. You know, I don't get it. I really don't get it. And you know, we talked about this before the transfer. When there's no reason for that. He needs to go back to Germany.
I think Agent X down there put in a call. I think X isn't telling us that he's got an inside man at Arsenal, and
Georgie.
X puts in a call, and Agent Jorginho just whispers in Arteta's ear, "Hey man, buy Willian. You know you want David Luiz.
Yep.
Buy Willian. Bring Willian on over. Yeah. What's the freaking track record of buying players from Chelsea?
Czech was good.
Czech was good already. We knew.
There was no reason for you to have bought David Luiz.
Nothing.
I didn't understand that purchase either.
We knew. Did you not watch him last season? We go watch this podcast from countless episodes talking about the stuffed shirt that Kai Havertz was all season long. And all of this preseason, I've tried to keep this in. Tried to keep it under wraps and be like, look, trust the process, trust Arteta. Maybe, just maybe, Arteta is going to be able to pull something out of him that no one else does. But when he missed that second one, and when he has a point blank from 7 yards out and he hits Ortega in the face, and then Arteta left him in the game for 75 minutes.
He sure did.
Well, I mean, you know, the thing that was a problem for Chelsea last year was they couldn't score goals, and their 9 was consistently Havertz. And I understand thinking, okay, you know, maybe it was just a bad situation, which it was, but it's never been there. You know, there's been moments, but nothing consistently. And when I saw that he was your 9, I was flabbergasted.
I didn't see that coming at all. Like, I didn't even expect that.
I was reading a message board, and people are like, oh my gosh, he's a false 9. That's going to be great. And I'm just sitting there chuckling.
It wasn't false 9. That's not what you said it, Patrick. That's not what we tried to do. He was there to represent our plan B.
Yeah.
We did not have a plan B last season. You said it. Arsenal, when you played Arsenal, that's what we did. We did that, and there was nothing else. And when City shut it down, we had nothing else. You know, and so I guess it's representing, okay, let's dump it in, and he's going to knock him down.
No.
Not against Ruben Diaz. Not against Johnny Stones. Nope.
He didn't do it against anybody. Sorry. He didn't do it against
Agent Georgie strikes again.
So my question is
yep.
Are they gonna is Arsenal finished in the transfer market?
I mean, yeah. From my experience, yeah, it feels like we're done. Especially going after Raya, spending money on Raya, like, yeah, I'm pretty sure we are. I mean, maybe we'll. Has anyone scooped up Kudus? Yeah, I don't think we're going.
Brighton looks like they're going to get him.
Right? Yeah. See, yeah, I don't think we're in for anyone before the. I mean, maybe. Like,
so he's your guy. Huh?
If something desperate happens and you know Trossard goes down or something, and then we're stuck with Eddie or Kai.
And Jesus is out for what, like 4 weeks or something like that?
Well, initially it's 2 weeks, right? 2 games, but it's the same injury, that same knee problem, and so
they're not bringing him back quick at all.
Exactly.
So he's out for a month.
Yeah, exactly. So, and I've been thinking about it, like if Eddie and Trossard can combine to outdo Jesus this season, I think we'll be fine. Like if say Jesus can come back in and hit 13, 14, which is reasonable, and then Eddie and Trossard can do 17, and we can get 30 out of the three of them. As long as Saka and Martinelli light it up again, I think, I don't know. Crazily enough, at the end of the preseason, I'm feeling like we scored 88 times in the Premier League last season. And now I'm thinking, man, because people know what Saka's got now.
Yeah.
People know what Martinelli's up to. They're not new
Well,
boys in the league no more. So there's plenty of footage to try to figure out how to defend against us. So
Well, well, I guess we'll talk about the time thing in a different segment. Is that right? Because the time.
yeah,
thing,
we'll do that in the next segment. Yeah.
I'll save it then. I'll save my response to that thing in the when we talk
Yeah.
about.
I think I think you make a really good point that teams are going to know how to defend y'all. I think that's what makes City so great because they keep reinventing themselves, and I'm interested to see if Arteta does that. Like I said last year, he took a huge step as a manager, but he's got to take that next step the next year to really kind of solidify himself as a top tier manager. Personally, y'all may think differently. I think he's a very good manager. I don't think he's top tier yet. And part of that is
trophies.
gotta have trophies, and part of that is tactics. I am interested, especially when he's throwing out Havertz as a 9. I'm interested to see what his plan is if someone shuts down Saka. Who's gonna
Well, it's coming. It's coming. You won't see it.
Because
that's what happened. I mean, that's what happened at Chelsea when Havertz was, or not Havertz, Hazard was going crazy. Huh?
Well, it wasn't. They had Walker on Martinelli, and
Akanji
was marking Saka.
Well, but again, this is where the City thing is different because Guardiola will be playing by that time. So I mean, this is where it is what it is. But I mean, I think it's going to happen, and I think Patrick's point is super duper important. Of like seeing what they're going to do. That's why I'm complimentary of when you had Rice and Partey next to each other. That's going to be huge when you play in the Champions League. I think that's going to really be a big deal.
We're starting that. That's how it should be.
Because you're going to catch, just because of I think the way the coefficient works, you're probably going to catch at least one hitter, one big hitter for sure. You're going to catch one.
Oh yeah.
So
I'm already resigned to the fact that we're like in my mind. In my mind, it's already either PSG, Barca, or Bayern.
Well, you can't count PSG anymore now, can you?
I mean, look, we've been away from the Champions League for 7 seasons. We haven't, going to the Parc des Princes on a Champions League night, loud night, and these boys have shown that they can be mentally frail. I'm just saying, the Champions League ain't no joke.
No, yeah.
Paris are perennials in that competition.
Yeah,
So I'm not going to take Paris lightly. I would not take Paris lightly or Bayern lightly.
You don't know what Paris you're going to get.
That's fair. But yeah, I think all in all, good win for Arsenal. Good to keep the momentum going. Good way to end the preseason, and definitely looking forward to Forest. And if you're excited about the new season coming up, go ahead and smash the likes for Lewis's treble scarf looking high and mighty up there at the top of the league. Hopefully we can topple him this season. Subscribe to the channel if you're looking forward to that as well, and get that notification bell on. Thanks for listening, and have a great night.